Alright, I'm going to title this video here, It's Not Always Bad to Talk to the Police, okay? Now, I've personally been pulled over a few times, searched on the side of the road a few times. Now, I never gave them permission, but they searched anyway. But I ain't never been dirty, so, I ain't never been arrested by them, and I always talked to them, like regular people. Okay, I never was an asshole to them. I ain't never been beat up by one of them. Now, Tyree Nichols, that's a whole nother case. I believe that had to do with jealousy, where the police and those gangbangers right there calling themselves police officers, they wanted to beat the crap out that guy, bash his face in because he was having an affair with one of them's ex-girl or something, baby's mama. Yeah, it was jealousy. So Tyree Nichols is a special case, but I digress. I personally never been beat up by the police. I've been searched by them a few times on the side of the road. My wife has been with me when we were searched and detained for like 2 hours while they searched our Suburban. They went through everything. While them cops searched, I sat over there with the supervisor having a conversation. He asked me where I'm going. I'm telling him what the fuck I was doing. I was on tour in Tennessee, by God. I was doing a fucking tour in Tennessee. So I was on my way. I was going to stop at Buford Puzzler's house, and I got videos of that. And I was telling him about that, and he started telling me, yeah, his training officer was the one that worked the accident scene for Buford Pusser. Buford Pusser was drunk, started telling me about his crookedness, telling me about the truth about what actually happened out there, okay? But the point is, I sat there and had a casual conversation with the supervisor while his worker bee sat there and told my Suburban apart while my wife sat there and fucking, what the fuck are they doing? But I understood what they was doing. I understand what they was doing in order to keep everybody safe on the interstate. They got to do what they got to do. Okay, so I understand. But a lot of people cry, my rights, my rights, my rights. So what about everybody's rights, okay? But I digress. What I'm getting at, I'm going to tell you the story about my brother-in-law, Lester Martin, okay? He's dead. He's dead, but years ago, I was young, I was probably about 20 years old, Salina, Ohio, Hardy's restaurant where he was working. I had spent the day fishing with my other brother-in-laws, my wife's brother. And my wife's brother was telling me about how my wife's sister's husband was running that mouth, talking all this shit, telling a bunch of lies, spreading a bunch of bad rumors, man, trying to get me beat up by everybody. So I said, well, that shit ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work, so I went to his job. And I said, motherfucker, I'm tired of you spreading rumors, and I'm tired of you putting people in jail, motherfucker, because all you want to do is put people in jail, because he had already had me arrested once from my house on a warrant because he told the judge and the police that I was scared, that he was scared of me, scared I was gonna kick his ass, which at that time I wasn't going to. I didn't know where that came from, but after everything started coming down, I was so fixing to. But at any rate, I went to Hardy's this night. I was drunk, and I went there to tell him, I ain't gonna put up with it no more. You better stop spreading them fucking rumors. And you know what, dude, I'm tired of you putting people in jail, pressing charges on people. I was drunk. He said, well, I ain't gonna press no charges on nobody no more. It don't do no good. And he picked up this dustpan in his hand. Them dustpans they use, sweep the trash in like this. It's got the pan down here with a stick on it. He picked that up, whap, like this, hit me in my mouth. And I was like, well, goddamn, really? And so I went with a front snap kick, and when I went with that front snap kick, he took that stick and did this number. When he did that number, I just took a step, letting that front snap kick down, and gave that center punch, whoop, right in his mouth. And the very first words come out of his mouth was just like you want A auditors. Guess what? I want to press charges. I said, oh, hell, no time for me to go. I tossed the keys to the old lady. I said, you take the car. I took off running. I ran through the briars and the bushes, you understand? I made it home before she did. Okay, I was escaping the grasp of the fucking, what y'all calling the torture cuffs, okay? So I never got arrested. So the next morning, the first thing I did was call the police. I called the police. I said, my name's Bobby Kennedy. I think y'all gonna want to talk to me. One of y'all gonna want to talk to me. Salina, Ohio. And they said, yes, sir, Officer Freeman gonna want to speak to you. I said, okay. They said, he's coming in at this time. He said, you be here 15 minutes before he gets here. I said, it's done. And I showed up there just like I told him I was going to do. And I explained to him the situation why I punched that boy in his fucking mouth, okay? And he said, listen, between you and I and the fence post, he said, that's what I'm going to tell you to do. He said, you take next time. He said, I know this boy. He said, all he does, he goes around, he starts shit with everybody. Picks a fight with everybody, then he calls us to bail him out. Like I told you, I'd already been on the peace bond, you understand? $500 peace bond. So Officer Freeman, he said, this is what I'm going to tell you to do. He said, next time, he said, you take him out over there across the county line. This is where it's at. He said, this goes into the county. He said, you leave the city limits. This goes into the county. He said, I can't do nothing about it then. He said, he'll have to go to the county to file charges on you. He said, then you beat his ass and you leave him there. That's what he said. So he said, but, he said, you did it within city limits. He said, I got you charged with assault. He said, but look at here. He picked up those charges and tore them up. Threw them in the trash. He said, you did it within city limits, so I have to charge you with disorderly conduct. But I'm going to charge him with the same thing if I can. But because you went to his job and did it at his job, probably not going to be able to. So I said, all right. And I took the ticket, and he gave me a ticket, and I had to go to court, you know. And the $500 peace bond, that was, you know, already over with. That had been, you know, like 18 months earlier, a year earlier, and had already been dropped. It cost me $79 to punch that boy in his mouth. It was well worth it, I'm telling you. Now, today, it probably costs you about $579 if you talk to the police right, and you talk to the prosecutors, and you tell everybody why it was done, and if it was done for good reason, probably it's going to be a lot easier on you than what you would if you, fuck you, I ain't giving you my, man, fuck you, you can't, no, you're not IDing me, no, my right, okay, your right is, and by the time it's all over with, now they done lock your ass up, beat the fuck out you, because you thought you was all that. Now you spend the next 3 years dealing with that crap going through court and you might win. But remember, they still got qualified immunity, and even if they lose, history says that the courts are on their side. They don't get too much out of it. So really, it's best you just go on ahead and say, here's my ID, run it, and keep yourself as clean as possible. I mean, if you're a dope fiend, you're out doing dirty deeds and you're wanted, that's your problem. And, you know, that's why you want, most of y'all wanting these rights and all this here delete laws crap, because you got all these warrants and you don't want to deal with them. Man, listen, if there's a warrant on me, I want to know before they even come to my house or pull me over so I can deal with it. But if they pull me over, I am going to give them my ID without hesitation. Here's my ID. This is my name. If you got warrants on me, go on ahead and let's deal with them and get them over with. But all of y'all just want to argue and fight on the street. All right then. That's all I want to say. I do not believe it's bad to talk to the police all the time. Certain instances, yes it is. If you're dirty, and you're definitely dirty and you know it, or they're out after you for a reason, like they probably are me right now, it's probably got to be real careful, keep cameras on them, because, you know, they might try to plant something, you know. I mean, that's why we got cameras on our cops today, or they're turning really, really bad. Really, really bad, man. But it is what it is. All right, then.